Ladies and gentlemen, the American jury and Bulldog Nation, I hope you caught the president on Hannity last night. I did by happenstance. And the president pointed out, among many other things, that he was tougher on Putin than any of his predecessors. You know, under Bush, 43, Putin took Georgia. Under Obama, he took Crimea. Under Biden, he's taken Ukraine. Didn't take any countries when old Trump was president, did he? And Trump explained how he got along with all the bad guys for America's best interests. It was a really good interview. And Trump, of course, is the one who gave the Ukrainians these javelins and tank killers. Kamala Harris went to Poland and just laughed her way through a press conference, embarrassing America, embarrassing herself. I mean, this woman is just a disaster. I mean, and it just proves that she's a political hack that blew her way through California politics, and here she is now. I mean, it's unbelievable. The Vice President of the United States is a complete disgrace. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, a pair of clowns, a pair of puppets, totally embarrassing. Facebook and Instagram is now allowing us to say bad things about Putin and Russia. Let that sink in. Let that sink in. The things, I'm now back on Facebook. I got a 30-day ban for posting a meme that used a picture of Chinese prostitutes, fully clothed, of course. But they're now allowing us to say things about Putin. Oh, they just make me sick. They make me sick. Meanwhile, I understand, President is banned from Twitter, that Putin still has a Twitter account. Explain that. Explain that. You can't. No jets for Ukraine. It's hysterical to me that some weapons were allowed to. This is how stupid these politicians are. There's some weapons we're allowed to give Ukraine, and they're okay. They're not worried about escalating things. But other weapons we can't give because those would maybe escalate. By the way, even Trump last night on Hannity made a comment about that, like, oh, we're allowed to give them this, but we're not allowed to give them that. It's all absurd. Goldman Sachs has left Russia. Apparently, they're the first investment bank to leave Russia. And by the way, I want to do a little opinion piece here in the middle of my show. The importance of capital. Capital meaning money to an economy, to a country, to each of us as individuals, to a business, can never be understated. It is the lifeblood. It's why we have banks. It's why we borrow money. The access to capital, money, is so important. And that is going to be Putin's problem. His capital is going to go, poof. AOC in 2021 blasted the oil companies and blasted the banks for lending oil companies money. I tell you right now, AOC, the left always trashes Trump because of his media background. I'm so sick and tired of listening to this communist, socialist AOC, but because so many people think she's hot, which I don't think she is, think that she's hot, that she is allowed to get away with the stupid things that come out of her mouth. That congressional district in New York elected and reelected her to serve. It's amazing to me. Joe Biden is continuing for another month the requirement of masks on planes and trains. Planes and trains. It's so silly. It's so silly. Inflation 7.9%, highest in 40 years. 7.9% increase. Dr. Fauci, where is he? I got a theory about Fauci. Fauci is wanting to go in the background as soon as possible, which he has, and he's hoping by staying out of the limelight, out of the news, disappearing with COVID, that by the time the Republicans take over next year, that they'll not want to revisit him and want to move on. That's what Fauci is deciding. I swear this is my opinion. Fauci's deciding he needs to disappear now and put some path and time between him and a Republican congressional hearing. North Korea has tested intercontinental ballistic missiles. Remember, Susan Rice, Biden's domestic policy advisor, she's running the country, said when she was Obama's national security advisor, we can live with a nuclear North Korea. We can live with a yeah. She's willing to accept that. Ted Cruz yesterday led the truckers' convoy around the loop all the way to Congress. He said it was a great experience. Good for Ted Cruz. Parents are reporting more and more issues called mask mouth and staph infections and other problems with their kids related to the mask wearing. Sad. Jussie Smollett. You see this clown. You know, Jussie Smollett is an example of black privilege. He's an example of how the segment of this world, the Black Lives Matter gang, it doesn't matter anything about the content of somebody's character. Jussie Smollett has a problem with the content of his character. And yesterday it was on display once again. Still denying that he manufactured this whole thing, even though he clearly manufactured it. And he got off light. 150 days, he got off light. Real light. For what he did, if Jussie Smollett was a white guy, whew, he'd go away for years. Jussie Smollett, 150 days. And now he's worried, the big wimp, he's worried that he's going to get killed in jail, wants to make everybody know that he didn't commit suicide. They'll put Jussie Smollett in a protective cell because he's gay, because he's famous. He's not going to be, and he's black. Jussie Smollett's, nothing bad's going to happen to him in jail. Big wuss. You talk about killing his street cred. I'm sure yesterday's sentencing, a lot of the black gangsters were like, man, that guy's being a wimp. Not very tough. Unbelievable. And last but not least, baseball's back. They've reached the deal, and they're going to play all 162 games. This is the Bulldog. Every dog has their day. Hope you have a great day.